I am now live. What is going down, everybody? Happy motherfucking Wednesday to everybody. Thank you for everybody that's just logging on and trying to join me. I'm gonna have a special guest come on here today. I'm gonna have as soon as I see him, I'll shoot him the invitation, man. But I cannot wait. We got Benji, my boy Benji Shapiro, coming on the show. And we're gonna talk about a bunch of UFO stuff, man, which I can't wait. Benji, I see you, my guy. Let me go ahead and shoot you the invitation if I can. Let me see. Just bear with me, man. Chrissy Newton is in here. Oh my God, Chrissy Newton, man. I am so excited for that too. What is going on, Big Benji, man? What is going on, man?
What's good, dude?
Dude, right here, man. I am so happy that you joined today on the live with me, man. Thank you for taking the time of your day to be here, man.
Oh yeah, of course, man. I'm always down to talk about UFOs, especially
Oh
with a
man,
fellow Dodger fan, bro.
I love it, bro. I love it, man. I'm sorry. I have a really bad sty in my eye. So if you see me like freaking messing with my eye, I'm not crying for everybody. I I woke up with a freaking nasty sty in my eye. I've been like putting a bunch of shit in my eye all day just to do the podcast, and I'm like, I cannot miss the podcast today. I didn't want to reschedule, so I'm like, we're gonna do this.
Hey,
But
man, it's fine with me. I got to wear my glasses today because my eyes have been bothering me too. So something in
man,
the air, bro.
hey, there you go. And I actually forgot my glasses at work, man. So I'm like, I'm blind as a bat right now. I'm like, I'm gonna be zooming in and out on you, bro. So I'm like, what the heck's going on? But definitely, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. With that said, we only get a freaking hour, which is what I hate about Instagram Live. I wish Instagram would let me go longer, but let's get the ball rolling, man.
Let's do it.
And let's go ahead, man. Benji, please introduce yourself to everybody, man, and let us know what kind of encounters or what really gets you going about this UFO topic as well, brother.
Yeah, man. I've been thinking of. I need to come up with like some cool intro for myself, but I'm just a dude. I'm an Angelino. I've been here for about 13 years now. I had a series of experiences back in 2021, which is kind of wild. I know a lot of people got turned on that year too, which is I say turned on not in the typical context, but like
Right.
literally like a switch got flipped on in that sense. But yeah, man, I'm a musician. I've been playing music all my life. I grew up a huge Blink 182 fan, which is kind of how I
Hey.
got into this topic in the first place. As a teenager, I was like obsessed with Tom DeLonge. And then, life goes on. You grow up, you go to college, you meet a girl, you move across the country, do the whole life thing. So I didn't pay attention to UFOs for like an entire decade after I graduated high school.
Mhm.
And 2021 happened, and just so that it was to be, Tom DeLonge that I didn't even know about. Tom DeLonge had come out and like told the world that aliens were actually real, and that
Mhm.
all the jokes that he would make back when I was a teenager and all the crazy stuff that he'd be talking about that sounded insane, well, it turns out it's not. And it just kind of coincided with my experiences that happened at the same time. So it was a trip, man.
Dude, and speaking of Tom DeLonge, man, he actually has actual. This is don't quote me on this, but this is just something that I've heard personally from other people that say that he actually has videos of actual UFOs and actual videos of extraterrestrials as well. Now, I don't know how true those statements are, but from what I know, he does have quite a few videos of UFOs. Can you chime in on that?
That doesn't surprise me. I can't speak to that per se, other than one of his bands called Angels and Airwaves. The drummer of that band, his name's Elon Rubin. He's a shared drummer between Angels and Airwaves and Nine Inch Nails. It's the same guy in both bands. And Elon I forget which podcast he was on, but he was telling the story of his wedding, and Tom DeLonge and Trent Reznor, they were like the first two people that he saw after he and his wife like came back out to this reception area after
Mm-hmm.
they had like gone, got pictures taken and everything. And I think Elon said something to effect that They said, "Hey, what's up?" And Tom was like, "All right, well, have fun. I'm gonna go get a drink, and I'll talk to you guys later." And then he just kind of
Mhm.
dipped out of the scene. And Trent was just standing there, kind of dumbfounded. So Elon goes, "Dude, what?" Or yeah, Elon just was like, "What just happened?" And Trent was like, "That guy just showed me a dead alien."
That is
So,
crazy.
so there's that story I know about. But um, as far as what he does have, or what he did have at one point, in the early 2000s, they had done this series of documentaries called the Urethra Chronicles, which is, I
Mhm.
think they only did two of them to cover Enema of the State release in '99 and the tour that followed, and then the Urethra Chronicles Part 2 for Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Mhm.
And in that documentary, I had the DVD, like the disc of it,
Yeah.
and they had this little bonus feature section, and it was just Tom talking about UFOs. And in this clip, I'm sure you can probably find it on YouTube, but in this clip, he's pointing to this bookshelf that's behind him, and he's like, "I got all this testimony." And this is like 2000, it would have been 2001, 2002, like right around the time of 9/11.
Right.
And he's like, "I got all this secret testimony and this footage of people talking." And he's talking about this complex down in San Diego that has these Egyptian pyramids in the front, talking about one says the past and one says the future, and they have all
Mhm.
this interesting symbolism in these facilities down in San Diego.
Oh, I do
And
believe that 100%.
oh, I know what it is. It's Latos, which used to be SAIC, and now they're a subcontractor for SAIC. But yeah, it's a company called Latos. If you ever
Hey,
go to any airport and see the
oh
X-ray
yeah,
machines, that's
yeah,
Latos.
yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the technology that we currently have, I mean, one could only explain it as we have it because of extraterrestrial knowledge. I mean, we have this pact. I do believe Eisenhower was one of the ones that disappeared mid. I guess he was doing something. He disappeared for a dentist appointment, and
Hmm.
that's kind of where the pact began, where we were exchanging technology on the end of our end. We were giving people for them to test. Kind of like just go ahead and abduct them type of stuff, but I do believe that half of our technology that we do have is big with extraterrestrial technology, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a huge part of the lore, and I think that's one of the frustrating parts of this. Like, if you're a U.S. citizen and you pay taxes and you do this stuff, and they can't even tell us where our dollars are being spent. Meanwhile, they're appropriating funds away from congressional mandate to
Mm-hmm.
fund all these black programs.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to Tom, that's one of the, I think, key points in his, I guess, like you would call it a sales pitch when he was talking to start
Mm-hmm.
TTSA, when he was talking to all these defense intelligence people behind the scenes. And he basically, in less words, was like, "Look, I see what you guys are doing. Here's how we could do it better."
Right.
So I think that was one of the things that kind of like solidified his seat at the table in that conversation. And turns out all that footage that he was talking about back in the early 2000s, it's all out. You can see it on YouTube. Like Greer has
Yeah.
had it in his shows and everything. Like it's all
Yep.
out there now.
It's big time out there, especially with this movie Disclosure Day. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
I did.
Dude, this movie is crazy, hands down crazy. And Spielberg really hits this home run out of the park, man. And the only thing I can get from this movie is, how does Spielberg know all of this, man? Does he have someone on the inside that gave him all this to like work with the movie? Do you believe?
I think at one point there was probably some overlap. I know that he is very close to Jacques Vallée,
Hmm.
and some of the other guys like Kit Green, Eric Davis. Those guys. I don't know how vast their relationship is. Probably more so with Jacques. So I think once upon a time there was probably some influence there. However, I would put it in the same vein that I put how we know everything we know, man. The information is out there. Like at this point, the conspiracy is to prove that there's nothing there.
Right.
So like anybody listening to this podcast right now can go and look all this stuff up. It's out there. Whether you want to believe it, that's fair, you know. But it's kind of hard to argue against when you pile it all together.
Oh, of course, man, and the way that they piled it on this movie, man, it's crazy. Um, what are your takes from this movie that Spielberg put out? Like, do you really believe that some of the footage that was used, you know how like towards almost the end of the movie they give you little snippets of like even the Roswell crash.
Hmm.
Do you believe that some of these snippets that they included on there were actually real?
I
I
do.
do believe.
Yeah, I do. Again, you can even look at Don Schmidt is a great researcher who has done a lot of work in the Roswell case. They've compiled over 400 different witnesses, man.
Hmm.
There's a good show out there. I don't know if it's still on Discovery Channel, but it was like Roswell Declassified or something like that,
Yes, I
where they
remember that.
ran, and this is early on stages of AI technology, but like they put all of the footage of the testimonies of those people back in like it probably would have been like the 60s and 70s. The footage is pretty old, but they put it all through this AI and was like, I guess it was checking for like vocal inflections and like different frequencies if you're lying, and a lot of it came back that those people were telling the truth. Now, yes, it is a TV show. Yes, it is meant to entertain you and sway an opinion one way or another.
Right.
But I think going back to Don Schmidt, I mean, dude, 400 witnesses to an event is hard to. They're all saying the same or similar things. It's very hard to argue against, and that's not even like I guess probably I know Jesse Marcel was in that mix, and some of the Brazel children, Mac
Hmm.
Brazel's kids, the rancher, um,
Yes.
they were a part of those witness testimonies. But like, and again, same thing with Kecksburg. There was a clip of Kecksburg in there. There was also I loved they didn't even say his name, but when they showed the Nixon footage
Oh,
and
yeah, I know. I
they put
saw
the Jackie Gleason thing in there. That was really
that.
cool to see. They had a little clip of out in the desert with the police car. That would have probably been Lonnie Zamora from
Hmm.
Socorro.
Hmm.
So they definitely put a lot of lore into it. They incorporated some clips of some FLIR footage too that looked pretty convincing, and I know the
Yes.
UFO Twitter world was was pretty on that in the trailer
Dude,
that came out.
it was going nuts, man. It was
Yeah.
going crazy, man. Um, with with that being said, man, like what one of the things that actually caught my attention to this movie, man, was like at the end, at the very end of this movie, man, where they had like this 7 foot tall being come out, right?
Hmm.
They let him out of his encasement, whatever. It was an old. I'm assuming an older alien, and they're keeping him alive. The suck part is that they ended right there, man. Do you believe that now with how we're progressing with what's going on and what we're seeing in the sky and more appearances is going down, do you believe that soon we will have some type of interaction with an extraterrestrial, whether it be during the media outlet or they're just going to simply reach out to us? How do you think all this is going to go down, man?
I love this question, and I don't have a straight up answer for you because
Mm-hmm.
I think the big part of a lot of the dilemma here is like, mainstream science, like what Avi Loeb is doing, for instance, and a lot of others like Matthew Shadagis and Kevin Knuth, and there's a bunch of scientists that are out there in the academic world that are studying it. But in order to study science in a rigorous, standardized way like we're used to, you have to have a control and a
Mm-hmm.
constant and all these things that have to be in the same place at the same time in order to render the experiment in the first place.
Right.
If you have an entire intelligence that does not play by our rules, it makes it virtually impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if there's like it's been alluded to, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Corbell's alluded to it, Ross Coulthart's alluded to it. Now we've got Dylan Borland alluding to it, like that there is something happening or something coming soon. Whether that's if you listen to Jeremy Corbell, he says the lie is going to be like a craft is coming to Earth or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. But maybe that there will be some type of reveal, you know. It's hard to say because we are our own intelligence, and obviously they have their own set of rules and their own set of their own MO essentially.
Oh, of course.
So like,
Just
I
like
don't know, man.
everybody here, right? We all live under like a set of rules, like you said, man. But dude, I don't know, man. Like, what are your thoughts on Jeremy Corbell, man? I would love to pick your mind on that a little bit.
So I met Jeremy a couple weeks ago for the first time.
Mhm.
We all like the whole circle of people on Twitter. We all kind of interact at one point or another. So I've had interactions with him in the past that have been pleasant. But dude, he's a great guy. I have nothing bad to say. He was like super high energy. Um, I could definitely see why, if some people aren't, I don't know, if you're like a negative Nancy, I guess, and you don't like
Yeah.
when people are enthusiastic about their art and what they're trying to do,
Hmm.
then okay. But to be frank with you, I think a lot of the hate comes from people who wish that they were doing what he's doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna tell you. Like, I think a lot of the ufologists or people that have been studying this for years and following this for years are mad at the fact that people are coming to Jeremy and he has a lot of whistleblowers under his belt. And I love the fact that he puts their safety first rather than just give them up.
Hmm.
So I do believe that a lot of the negative Nancy's, like you say, do come forward because they don't have this information that they wish they had. But then again, I do believe that some of these people, if they had that information in their power, man, this shit would hit the fan so bad that I think these people in power right now, with all these secret government programs and black government programs going on, they will have them killed. I
Yeah,
mean, look at the scientists. I mean, what do you think? Let's touch on the scientist part real quick too,
yeah.
man. Uh,
So
yeah, go ahead.
that I think is a combination of multiple things.
Hmm.
I think some of the people are genuinely curious, like General McCaslin just out of nowhere. That's very interesting, and some of the other scientists. But then you have media trying to make a narrative out of something that like doesn't need to be made.
Hmm.
I don't think that all of them are connected. Obviously, a lot of people go missing at any given time on any given day,
Hmm.
So I think that there's a bit of that. I think there's a bit of fishy stuff going on with it, but I don't think it's
Hmm.
to the extent of what is the count right now, like 15 or 16 people that are either dead or missing.
Hmm.
And
It's
like,
I do believe that the count is going up just a little bit more because as we progress, right? They just found Melissa's body not what this year after it's been missing
yeah,
for a full year. So I strongly, in my opinion, I don't know if you would agree to this, but I think that some of these scientists, the ones that did go like missing, and they saw like little snippets of them during like through ring cameras and at work. Los Alamos has a lot of secrecy going on with it, man. So I do believe that they probably came up on something big, and some of these people were getting ready to obviously put it out there,
yeah,
and they were fearful for that. So what did they
sure.
do? Boom,
It could
out of
also
here.
be, I think a big thing that a lot of people aren't really talking about that could be a reality is maybe some foreign actors. Somebody
Ooh,
from, somebody that's here that's probably not supposed to be here, and they're, you know, doing things they probably shouldn't be, including taking people and, doing
man,
what they do.
you make a solid point with that. I didn't even think about that one. You make a really solid point with that one, man.
Because like I think a big issue I see a lot of, and especially in the UFO community, is like the people that are into this stuff are into this stuff.
Yeah.
I've gotten sucked into it multiple times, but then you got to take a step back and realize that there's a whole world out here where there's a lot of other real potentials that could be,
Hmm.
and it's very easy to get sucked into everything's UFO related because it touches a lot of aspects of our reality that people don't realize. But I think when it comes to like the scientists, like I said, I think it's a combination of multiple things. Um, it could be nefarious, and I do think that there is some of that in there.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's all just should be lumped into one category, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Not everything should be assumed as, oh, they got killed because they knew something. let's be quite frank and honest. A lot of people go off the haywire. Some people, have issues, alcoholism, pills, you name it, the
Yeah.
whole 9 yards, right? So what's to say that these people couldn't handle the job and said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to the middle of the desert and
Well,
float.
there has been reports of some of that as well, with at least one of the people that are no longer here in that
Hmm.
group of scientists. One of which who was very vocal about, you know, things that she may or may not have known or been told, about like different timelines of like entities and things like that from different points in space time.
Hmm.
Um, and going back to Tom DeLonge, I just thought that part of it was interesting, because Tom has alluded to something similar to that as well in the past.
Man,
So it's
that'd
very
be
interesting,
great.
man.
That'd be great to like actually have Tom DeLonge join the podcast, man. At one point, hopefully. I mean, I'm gonna try to reach out to him and see if I can get him on here, man.
Dude,
That
good luck.
I
My
know.
friends have been trying to get him on for years, and he's
Oh
just like,
man,
he's such a busy dude.
I know, man. I know, but it's wishful thinking. I like to
Yeah,
leave
man,
good things up in the air. You never know.
for sure,
I you never know what special guest might want to come on and go. You know what? Let's do it. Let's go ahead and capture the moment. And
for
then
sure.
like, what are your thoughts on reptilian beings, man? I want to kind of push the envelope a little bit, man. I like to dig into like a little bit of these conspiracy theories and kind of poke the minds of my guests a little bit. So, what do you think about like reptilians and shapeshifters in the government?
Hmm. I mean, it would make sense if we did have some type of agreement with some type of beings, you know, that not only would there be contracts made, but, maybe there would be some shared programs where, like, what was that guy that said he saw a being out at the test range just walking on the road? I can't remember his name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, man.
He said he had no ears. I can't
Yes,
remember that guy's
yeah,
name
man.
now.
He freaking he gave a whole thing about how the it looked like a big old head. He had no
And
ears.
he was in military garb,
Yes, he was
you
in
know?
a military garment, right? And
Yeah.
it seemed like he was like a high ranking alien because he had like insignias of even space and stuff like that, man. That one
Yep.
caught my attention too, but I don't know how true. Like I said, everybody has their own entitlement to what they believe or what they saw. I personally don't have proof to discredit that, but it does sound believable to me.
I again, man, it's hard to say. Like, I think all of the conspiracy theories are definitely based on some truth. That's why they're good, you
Mm.
know. But I also know for a fact that there is a lot of money put into like in counter intel against these programs, and like feeding information to different sources so they can track where it comes from and who said it, So it's very hard to say. It's convoluted in this like weird shroud of where, I don't know, maybe it's like 90% of it is all bullshit,
Yeah.
you know, and the 10% that is true is immediately watered down with some crazy elements. And I'll give you two examples. David Grush comes out in 2023 on News Nation with Ross Coulthart, does this
Hmm.
crazy interview where he's saying, yes, we have biologics recovered. Yes, we have craft. It's real, right?
Hmm.
Within 24 hours, pretty much all the other mainstream news stations have a segment about how there are some 10-foot aliens walking around in Las Vegas.
Right.
Within 24 hours after that News Nation segment comes out, there's 10-foot beings in someone's backyard in Vegas.
Hmm.
When one of the hearings happened and you have actual people on stand testifying, I think within 48 hours after that, you have the Miami Mall incident blowing up on social media and TikTok and everything.
Yes.
So I'm really big on pattern recognition, um, probably due to how much I've spent looking at how these government programs work
Hmm.
and like the reasoning that they have behind tucking it in wherever it's tucked. And there, like I said, there's a lot of money pumped into putting out false information to cover what's actually going on.
Did you see also with the Miami Mall incident that there was a police officer that called, or the son called his dad, which is a police officer, right? And he was giving him not too much information, but he was on the phone with him, letting him know that there indeed was some type of beings inside the mall, but couldn't really explain to him what was really going on just due to secrecy, and they're not letting him fully talk, but he was investigating what people were seeing, and according to that same officer, they confiscated his body cam because supposedly he captured some of that on his body cam. So they literally took the body cam from him, which therefore he never came out publicly and said anything. Right? All he said was they just took my body cam after
Hmm.
pretty much talking to his son. What do you think really happened? There's a lot of stories. Like I'm sure for one you heard the one where it was a bunch of kids in there with like a DVD player type of thing, and like it looked like a hologram, right? That they just turned it on, they plugged it up, and boom, a hologram. Some people believe that these kids plugged in this thing and a portal opened and beings came out. What do you think on that?
I honestly don't have an opinion on that one, man. I think for me, I think it's a really weird that there's so much police presence if it was truly some kids lighting off some fireworks. I will say that,
Right,
you
right.
know. But I don't know. I really don't. That's yeah,
This,
that's kind of the thing that is fun for me with this is like actually finding the things that make me go, yeah, dude, I have no idea what that is, or have no
yeah,
explanation of it. And it's only a very small portion of it, but that's one of those for me.
exactly.
I do think it's weird the timing after the congressional hearing comes out where people are
Mhm.
saying some actual stuff, and then you have a crazy story that follows. But I don't know, man.
And then you take the Las Vegas incident, right? And you have a cop talking to some people out on the street. I think he was conducting like just a surveillance of the area or whatnot. And you see on his body cam, right, something fall from the sky, and boom. After that, you have the people that wherever this craft landed call in and saying that there's beings in their backyard. They have footmarks of these beings. They even have like a little small video of supposedly them taking video of the being in their backyard. And then you have that cloaked 7 foot tall being that they keep uh, literally pushing onto everybody as the people were coming into the backyard. I don't know if you've seen those videos, man. What are
Yeah,
your
I
what are your
have.
thoughts on that?
I don't like videos where it's like they circle something that you're supposed to look at. I just want the raw video
Yeah.
so that I can form my own opinion. Because, like, if you watch the raw video, I don't see anything in it.
Right. That's exactly what I tried to do. I'm like, dude, what? Because they personally put like a image in your mind, right, when they're circling stuff, and
Yep.
now after that you're like, oh shit, now I see it. Even after when you see the raw footage, your mind is already on the optical illusion. I'm gonna say it's an optical illusion
Yeah.
that you're like looking at, and you're like, okay, they projected that shit into your mind.
That's
Now
like the
you're
same thing as like everyone says that when you listen to what is it, Stairway to Heaven backwards, it says like Hail Satan or whatever.
yeah.
Dude, I've listened to it just straight up backwards. The only time I've ever actually heard it is when I had like the subtitles on the YouTube video saying, yeah, it says it right here, you know? And then like, yeah, sure. You could hear it
Dude,
then, but
I
like,
can't I can't even
nah.
believe they did that shit in a church, bro. They played it backwards. That was something crazy, you know. But with this whole with all these incidents happening, and after, did you see also the video that came out with the B-2 bomber? Obviously, everybody has been keeping up with what happened with the B-2 bomber. Really
Yeah.
sad for all 8 people killed on board, which sucks. But there's this new video coming out with this red orb, I'm gonna say, coming into frame and then disappearing. But
Mm,
a lot of
I have not
people,
seen that.
I posted that today, and oh my god, man, I went on a page, right? I forgot what page I went on, and usually I get these random pages when I'm scrolling, right?
Sure.
And I seen this page, and I seen the video, and the mass of people that were so angry at the fact that they were going. There's so many celebrations going on with graduations and balloons can float onto an air base. I'm like, dude, let's just be realistic. Nothing is gonna be in the air in the tarmac of an Air Force base because they're just gonna automatically shoot the shit down. They're not
Mm.
gonna even let it come into frame. Why would they have a random balloon float into their airspace? And it
I
and
don't
it came
know,
it,
man.
it came in so quick. I get the skepticism and I get people are angry for that, but then again, it's like this shit was moving crazy fast. Like it was.
I'll have to watch this video because it very well it could be a balloon. Who knows?
Yeah,
You know,
and
there's
it
like
could
so
be a
many
red
random
star balloon.
explanations of things that it could be. Like I know one of the videos that came out, I think in the may have been the second tranche from the government, the White House UFO videos,
Hmm.
and dude, it ended up being like a stormtrooper balloon.
Oh yes, I seen that one.
The internet was able to debunk it super quick.
Oh yeah,
And you know,
super
and
quick.
it's interesting too, man. Like I look at this phenomena and like they should really turn more over to citizen science and like citizen investigation because I mean, look at like I don't know if you remember the Gabby Petito thing that happened a couple years ago
Oh yeah, man.
where her boyfriend like ended up killing her. Like I don't know if I can say that on Instagram,
Yeah,
but sorry. Okay. Uh,
we'll go with unalived.
yeah, when she went missing and like he was covering the whole story saying that yeah, we don't know he didn't know what happened to her, but he ended up back at home. Dude, the
Hmm.
internet figured that whole thing out in like a week through people submitting their actual footage of that hiking trail that they
Hmm.
were parked next to, and they were able to find the body and recover it because of that, you know. And then months later, I think, is when the FBI or the police went and tried to arrest him.
Yeah.
Same thing with this new guy, David. He's like this singer. I don't even know his music, but this
Oh
guy,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
he had like a girl that was underage. And dude, the internet knew that a year ago, and he just got arrested within the last month
Hmm.
or two,
Hmm.
you know?
And
So
that's
it's
just
like,
and they arrested him just like I would say they took forever on it, but I mean, how long has that poor girl's body been
yeah,
in that car, man? Like, you
yeah.
get me? Like,
But
it
like
was a
the
freaking
point I'm
rental.
trying to make with this whole thing in general is like if we could apply that same rigor to this
Oh
topic,
yeah.
dude, that you can't compete with that, man.
Oh
And
no, man.
that might be one of the reasons I think they're trying to hold things back. So I think at large, what's going on right now is a clear um, internal push and pull.
Hmm.
There are there's a lot of public attention on this, more than there ever has been. And that's due to a myriad of different reasons. Like, obviously, people want to know things. The same people that have been asking the questions are still asking the questions. But now you have this new layer of like social media that they didn't have back in the 60s when they were having hearings about this stuff. So, like, there's that. But in general, you know, the some factions want it out and there's others that don't. And it's very clear that that's what's happening internally, and I don't understand what the big deal is.
Right.
I don't know why they assume that they would have to break national security oaths and like put us in potential harm to just come out and say, you know, yeah, we have recovered things, or just even David Fravor just mentioned it. They could come out and say Roswell happened. We have been looking at this for 80 years. That's
Of
all they would have
course.
to say,
Of course.
and that's it. The I think the UFO community at large would be kind of appeased, so you wouldn't have so many people being so angry all the time at each other.
Yeah, man.
Because now there is for sure there's a smoking gun, there's a there.
Mhm.
You know, I think they can do that where they don't have to break national security and worry about, you know, let's say like technology that they do have falling into the wrong hands, essentially.
I think every country has a piece of some type of UFO, right? And correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I do think that there is. I think every country that we have here on planet Earth has a little bit of a UFO or a piece of UFO. If not, they have an alien body or biologics, whatever that may be. But I think every country does have something like that now. The fact that they don't want to share it, obviously for national security reasons, but don't you think that every country has some type of technology alien related?
I think at least the major players that have nukes,
Oh
they
yeah, that
they
for sure.
seem to really like nukes.
Yeah, and
um,
and they want to weaponize every fucking thing. Let's just be quite honest. As soon as they build it or they see something shiny and flying in the sky, oh, we need that.
yeah,
Let's
man. I mean,
weaponize that shit.
think about it. If you could build a Tic Tac,
Oh,
you know, that can operate in any domain, water, air, space, and it can get to wherever it's going almost at an instant clip. You
mm-hmm.
strap a nuke to that and sit over, I don't know, sit over the Kremlin.
Mm-hmm.
That's checkmate.
And then you go, I didn't do it.
What?
You know,
Well, I'm saying like if you could, I'm
yeah,
saying
if you
if
could,
you
yeah,
could do it,
yeah,
like
of course,
if you have that type of technology at your disposal, that's checkmate.
oh, of
You know.
course,
So I
of
think
course.
a part of it is also not just violating national security, but I think trying to keep away from essentially an arms race over
Mm-hmm.
this kind of stuff. Um, but I think what we're seeing in real time is like the trickle effect of more people coming alive to this and asking questions and putting it out there, and like so much so that now you have Brazil translating more of their classified files now unclassified.
Yeah,
You
the
got
volume.
Japan, you've got France, you've got Italy,
Mm-hmm.
you've got people now talking about way back in the 30s, the magenta crash. Apparently that happened too.
Yes.
So like
Yep.
I think little by little, the people that are pushing for this are kind of like, I think what I'm trying to say is the reason it's being dripped to us right now, and they don't just come out and say, yeah, they're real, is because they're trying to avoid all of these what are they, catastrophes along the way.
No,
So,
that's it.
you know, it, it's, man, I could talk about this stuff forever.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
It,
trust me, man. Me too, man. When I talk about this with my wife, man, she's like, dude, I believe, but I don't want to hear these things because I don't get it. So
that's my
yeah,
girl too, man. But
yeah,
I gotta say, we were talking a little bit about the Disclosure Day movie earlier.
yeah,
It was very validating for me personally
yes.
to look over at my girl at the end and see that she's crying. And like, I go to comfort her and I'm like, why are you crying? And she goes, because of what you told me that happened to you.
Oh, please do tell. And Benji, any stories you have, please do tell.
Yeah, man. I still don't have like an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
But for those that have seen Disclosure Day, the stuff that happens to Emily Blunt's character is like, it's a really, really good depiction of what myself and a lot of people describe when they talk about the telepathic, um, I guess you call them downloads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, it's kind of like a switch, just flips on, and like you just know things. And like, I want to say too, for people listening, I think we all have our internal monologues, like when we talk to ourselves in our head, and I think most of us know what that sounds like to ourselves. Um, but the stuff that was going on, it lasted for about a week, to the point where I had to call out of work for an entire week. Like I was completely shocked and like couldn't talk to people. Um, After the first day, anyway, it like, and then it let up. But anyway, so it's it's kind of like a, not a voice talking to you. It's just like it's like a knowing,
Mm-hmm.
but very specific information. So just to kind of make this make sense, I was sent a photo from one of my family members who, they have a lot of weird stuff happen on their property, kind of like a little mini Skinwalker ranch.
Oh
And
shit.
like,
Okay.
and so like, and obviously I was into UFOs when I was a kid, so, and like paranormal stuff. So my family member was always sending me things like, "Hey, look at this. This is weird." And you know, I'm doing my life thing. I'm doing my music stuff, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Like it didn't really do anything to me. But this one image in 2021, it was two images. It was two shots from a trail camera out in the woods, and this is in like northwestern Pennsylvania, kind of like on the Pennsylvania-Ohio border. And it looked like a bipedal light body, kind of like what the Bledsoes describe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It like you it's like it looked kind of like if you were to draw a stick figure, but like just in the frame, made of plasma is what it looked like. Like if you've ever seen plasma in like a particle
Yes.
accelerator, that's what it looked like. But it was like bipedal shaped. And then the second image is of it like leaving the frame. So
Oh.
it wasn't something that was just like a weird camera reflection or something like that. It was something that had movement to it. Well, that I don't know why that particular one did it, but that sent me into a spiral of trying to figure out what the hell this was for the next like 8 hours of my day that day. It was on a
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, so I had
Oh.
like the weekend. I was like doing nothing, and after about 6 hours, the only thing that I could come up with, because I was like cross-referencing the image in Google and a bunch of stuff, and there was a drawing. It was like a petroglyph in this cave in Australia from like Aboriginals,
Mm.
and it's thousands of years old, and it looked exactly like that thing. Um,
Oh shit!
and
Wow.
then maybe maybe 5 minutes after that happened, I was just sitting on the couch, kind of still dumbfounded, like, what is this thing? And then all of a sudden, like I said, it was like a switch got flipped. Um, the room that I was in was my living room. It felt like it was statically charged, like the hair on my body stood up. I couldn't move, and I can't tell you still if that was like I was in shock or fear or um, like actually paralyzed by something. I couldn't tell you that, but I know the room felt like it was statically charged. Um, and then there was I guess like we were talking about the telepathic messaging and stuff. That started happening to me, but it was very specific. Go outside.
Mm.
And I did not, because that's when I started to get afraid. It was like this very strong inclination that I should be outside right now. And I didn't go. I stayed on my couch. I didn't sleep. I couldn't get up. And I ended up, I think I woke up after passing out on my couch the next morning, with that same feeling still occurring. So
Wow.
I called my mom, I called my best friend, I called one of my other friends who's a psychic medium. I was I'm thinking I'm freaking out, like I'm having a psychotic break.
Oh sh.
My girl's away like visiting family across the country, so I'm by myself, and I'm
Oh
like,
shit! You damn!
I
You were going through it,
yeah.
man.
So I was like, I don't know what the hell is happening to
Oh
me. Am
shit!
I schizophrenic? Like, what is
Yeah.
happening? So that night, after again the whole day, the same static feeling, I could move, but I could still feel it throughout my body. And then that same feeling came about, said, go outside. This time I went. I went outside the second night
Mm-hmm.
and stood there. I was just on my balcony, and I live in Highland Park, man. It's like you don't see many stars in the sky in LA. It's really bright, But it was probably like 10:30 at night. I'm standing up on a balcony outside of my apartment, and I'm out there for maybe 20 minutes. Don't see anything. Nothing happens. And then like right as I'm about to go back inside, there's this like whitish blue dot that just appears, goes to my right from the left, no tail, just a light that went here, here, and then faded out,
Whoa.
just faded out completely. So I'm like, no way that was real. I'm seeing things. That was a shooting star if it was anything. Like your brain starts going in rational
Yeah.
mode, trying to figure out
Mm-hmm.
like what it was, like trying to make sense of it. And then in my mind, I'm like, all right, if that was real, do it again. And dude, it popped right back up where it had gone out,
Oh.
went back to the left, and then popped out again.
Whoa.
So that freaked me out. I was like, all right, I'm done. And I ran back inside. I was like, I can't do this. I'm done for the night. I don't know what the hell that was at all. Um, so then the next morning comes about, and same sensation is still happening, still feel this static charge, but now I have this like I said, you know what your internal monologue sounds like.
Yes.
This, if I could describe this to somebody, I would say it's like the feeling like static electricity, but internally the feeling that you get when you hug your abuela, bro.
Yeah.
After like not seeing her for a long time, it's like
Hmm.
super nurturing and like loving and like um that's what it felt like. And it was very, very warming. And like, I wasn't scared of it. I was just very intrigued as to why this was happening and like what is happening to me in general. Um, and I'm trying to think what happened after that. Like, all of a sudden, like, I understood, um, like, I guess you could relate it to Carl Jung. It's like the theory of oneness, where there's only one mind in the universe. We're all just fractal pieces of it.
Yes.
So when like religious people say we're all God's children, like, yeah, kind of. Um, I understood that out of nowhere. Like, never have I ever gone out of my way to think about things like this before. Um,
It's crazy, right? Like it all it takes is for something to happen in your life to actually piece all this together and go shit.
hmm But like, it was like this information was like being fed to me in like a different voice, but it wasn't a voice. It was more like a feeling, like a knowing. And it was
Oh yeah.
like it was a feminine energy. Like I
Mm.
guess knowing now, I guess you would call that like a divine feminine. That's kind of the vibe that happened. Um, and then like all of a sudden I was like thinking about quantum physics and like string theory and like how if you separate electrons, time and space doesn't matter, because if you play with one electron over here, it's going to stimulate the other one over there, regardless of how far apart they are from each other.
Hmm.
And like you just literally a couple weeks ago, somebody was on Joe Rogan talking about that very thing.
Yeah,
But
I saw that.
I just knew this stuff
Crazy.
out of thin air, essentially.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, obviously, obviously this is weird. I need to like take my mind away from this right now.
Hmm.
What can I do to entertain myself? And then I was like, man, what's new with UFOs? I haven't looked at anything UFO related in like 10 years, right? So I go on and then I'm like, holy shit, Tom DeLonge was right. All this crazy stuff he was talking about 15,
Yeah.
20 years ago, it's all out there. Oh, there's this show called Unidentified where he and Lou Elizondo are talking about all these things that happened on the Nimitz in 2004. And then I see Greer's stuff, and I'm like, that's the guy that Tom DeLonge was hanging out with in the desert back in the 90s. And like all this, these things just started correlating left and right to where I
Hmm.
was like, oh my God, there's no way that I'm just on this path for no reason. Um, and then I found the contact stuff like the CE5 and heists and all the like
Hmm.
things that you can do to reach out to them. And I was like, okay, well if I'm truly being messed with, because I don't know, like I said, I don't know if I'm going psychotic or what.
Hmm.
Um, but if this is real, maybe I can get some answers if I participate. Um, so I did, and that's when I started having more orb sightings. The one that was really significant, 'cause I know we're running out of time here, but the one that was most significant, I was on a lunch break. I was outside on that same balcony, but this time it's like 12:30 in the afternoon. Clear LA day, no clouds. And I see this like this was like the day after I had done probably a 45-minute meditation. Um, and there's a lot of other detail, but just getting into the sighting part of it, I look up and I'm like, huh, there's this, it looked almost like a flock of birds, but it, they didn't move how birds move. There was like probably 20 or 30 of them, all kind of like
Clustered.
Yeah, like, but not in any specific direction. It kind of had like a circular flow to it, but then they'd be darting around left and right, and
Yeah.
this all these silver and white orbs. Um, and I noticed I was wearing my sunglasses. They're polarized lenses, and I was like taking them off, putting them on, taking them off, putting them on, and you couldn't see them without the polarized lens. But when I put my sunglasses on, you could see them clear as day. It was very, very strange. Um, and then I'm like, okay, I'm on my lunch. I can't put attention into this right now. I got to get back to work soon.
Yeah.
And I like get on my phone for maybe 30 seconds to a minute, and then I look back up again, and there's nothing there except I look now straight up because I'm like, there's no way a flock of birds just disappears from like I can see out into a valley. There's no way it
Yeah.
just disappears when it's that high up in the amount of time it took for me to look back at it. And it wasn't there. So I'm like, what the hell? And I look straight up and I see them like right above me, straight like 90 degrees up ahead of me. But now they're forming into two larger ones. And now they're just sitting there, not moving, not flowing with the wind. They're just stationary now.
What the hell?
And then they just start moving along in a slow clip, maybe 50 to 100 feet or so.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to guess altitude, I'd say maybe 2,000 feet up. So not like
Okay.
super high, but
Yeah.
high enough, you know. And they just out of sight. They didn't zoom away. They didn't shoot up. They just blipped out of thin air, completely gone.
Dude.
And then
That
I
is
go,
freaking crazy.
well, the weird part to me is I go back inside. And again, I guess we have time to put this detail in here. While that was happening, I tried to take a picture of it
Mm-hmm.
and I got one of those messages again, but this time it said, no, this one's for you. That was the vibe. It was like, this is for you. You don't need to do that. And I couldn't take my phone out of my pocket. And then after they vanished, I ran back inside to tell my girl, like, oh my God, I just saw this. And it had been like 40 minutes. She goes, her first reaction is, where have you been? Because I thought I had only been outside for like 10 minutes to smoke a cigarette. And
Dude.
like, and yeah, she was like, dude, you gotta like get back to work. Because I was working from home at the time during
Mm-hmm.
COVID, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was out there for 40 minutes. Didn't feel like 40 minutes at all.
Oh shit, you lost track complete. Time just like completely passed you by
Yeah.
while you stood in time thinking it was just a couple minutes. But
Hmm.
literally, oh, that is crazy.
Yep. And
Benji.
the other, like, I remember too, when I was staring up at them, I could like hear my neighbors and like see them out of my peripheral. Like they were out and about, like outside. So they probably just saw me standing there, like looking straight up at the sky. And I don't know how long I was there. It felt like I was there for 10 minutes.
You
But
know what, man? And I'm gonna trip you out a little bit before we get up out of here, man. Um, I'm pretty sure that a lot of your neighbors, since time did stop for you, and that was for you, I don't think people saw you standing there. Kind of like it was just a you moment.
they've never said anything to me. And like I'm close with those neighbors. That's like
That's what
if
I'm
you're
saying.
if you're from my neighborhood, like you know Gina. Gina's dope. Gina throws the best house parties. Everybody knows Gina. I talk to Gina all the time,
Yeah,
and they've never said anything to me.
that's what I'm saying, man. Like there was a loss of time, and especially those that because everything happens while man, dude, this is so crazy. Like believe it or not, Benji, when I brought you when I reached out to you and said, you know what, I want to bring him on to the show, it's because my inner monologue, I want to say, and something from afar told me to bring you on. And every person that I have come on has had some type of connection to related to my story. You have had, if not one of the closest encounters that I have had similar. and I'm gonna show you. I'll send you a video. I'm gonna send you the raw video of my Palm Springs trip, where you
Okay.
explain about like how you're like, okay, is this shit real? If it is, do it again. And I have actual footage of that. And
Yeah, send me
just
that, dude. Yeah, send me that for sure.
I'm gonna send you that shit, man. Just don't mind the drunkenness chatter of mine because I'm completely fucking hammered in this video, and I'm like recording
It's
this shit,
Palm
right?
Springs, bro. It's expected. We
Oh
all know
my
what happens in Palm Springs.
Oh my God, dude. I was completely shit faced, bro. And I was like, this isn't happening right. My girl went inside. She's like, fuck this. I'm not trying to get abducted. And she saw this. She's like, I'm going back inside. I
Well,
was like,
dude,
no
I gotta.
shit.
I'll freak you out one more. So one of the last messages before it stopped, which is that was 2 days before I found Vinny Adams from Disclosure Team and Dan Zetterstrom, like Tyler from Contact Tour, Chrissy, like this group of people that I have been super close with the last 6 years now, 5 years now. The last message that came through for me was find the others. That
Oh,
was the last one.
she, damn.
And then
So,
like 2 days later, I start meeting all these people in the UFO community, and now I'm in groups of with like whistleblowers and scientists and like yeah,
tripping.
it's I don't understand why. Like I got if everybody got contact in the desert a couple weeks ago was asking me like how are you here? Because I had like a press pass on and I'm like hanging out. I don't have a podcast. I don't do any of the
Mhm.
stuff in the public. All my research is given to other people to release. Um, and so it's funny because I don't have an answer for that. I don't know how I ended up here. Um,
We're
yeah.
all connected, bro. We're all connected. The ones that know. We're all connected. And it's funny you say that, dude. I live right next to a retirement home, right? And randomly, I'm just shoot this out here really quick too for you. Um, and we were talking about just random stuff and how he's retired, U.S. Navy pilot, and he was telling me that he still works for the government and these black projects,
Hmm.
and he has actual pictures of UFOs and aliens, and he has a lot of drawings and renderings that he did for the government, and he's willing to come on the show to show that to people. So this happened out of nowhere. Like he stopped me, and I was coming out of work. I was coming home from work actually, and he literally stopped me just to talk. He's like, "Hey, young man, really quick, you seem like you look like you like the UFO topic, and just random." And
Out of nowhere.
I was like, "How the fuck?" I'm like, "I'm not wearing my shirt, my alien." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here, man!" But definitely, we are all connected, man. This sucks that we only have an hour, Benji. We need to do this again, me and you, man.
Yeah, for sure, man.
We're gonna schedule this shit again, man. This is gonna be a part two, definitely, man. I am so happy again. Thank you again for taking the time of your day to come on here, man. It was my pleasure to have you on here. Benji, man, if you can do us the honors, man, and just sign us off really quick and give everybody, a little good night and a good thing like that.
Yo, anybody watching this, I think a lot of us have these experiences and we just don't talk about them. Obviously, social conditioning has been a huge part of that, but it's getting to a point now where the conversation is shifting away from just solely what the government is talking about. It's going to be our time soon. So, for anybody, like, if you want to reach out to me, if you got stuff to get off your chest or whatever, please do. I know Chris is super, super awesome. A lot of my friends have said nothing but nice things about Chris in the past as well. Someone you guys will probably see here very soon, from what I hear.
Mm.
And yeah, I hope everybody has a good night. Alien
Thank
OG podcast. Let's go.
Thank you so much, man. I'm gonna tag you in. I'm gonna tag you in this video. I'm gonna upload it, man, and I'm gonna tag you. So if you guys want to reach out to Benji, go ahead and do so, man. This has been outstanding. Yo, boy, Chris from Alien OG Podcast, man. My guy Benji. We're gonna do this again, and we're gonna run it back. You guys have a swell night. Loving the hat, bro. By the way, I forgot to wear mine, but loving the hat, Benji. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much, man. You've been awesome. You have yourself a great night too, Benji. Appreciate you, my guy.
See you, bro.
Thank you, brother.